Hello and welcome to another Jurassic Park video. Today's video is not about a theory, it's about fantasy warfare. Recently, I was watching Jurassic Park 3, and during the movie, I was thinking about The Lost World, since it takes place on the same island. I was thinking about the characters from that movie, and one of those characters was the daring and adventurous hunter, Roland Tembo. We remember from The Lost World that he successfully hunted the T-Rex. He took down the greatest predator that ever lived. I was then watching the scene where the Spinosaurus destroys the plane. Of course, we all remember how that went. It destroyed the plane with its bare hands, jaws, and feet. It displayed power unlike anything we've ever seen from a dinosaur. It could be argued that this dinosaur was unstoppable. So I put all these thoughts together and I got to thinking, could Roland Tembo take down the Spinosaurus? Let's explore that question and find out. Now just before I give my thoughts on this hunt, let's do an analysis of what Roland will be up against. The Spinosaurus is a carnivorous dinosaur that's nearly 20 feet tall and around 46 feet long. It weighs in at a whopping 10.5 tons. It has thick skin, a crocodilian snout, massive arms, and killing claws on both hands. It's extremely aggressive, powerful, durable, and agile. It goes without saying that this is no ordinary dinosaur. You may have heard this somewhere before, but there's information to suggest that the Spinosaurus is actually a super hybrid, like the Indominus Rex. The Spinosaurus went through heavy genetic alteration and was referred to as an accident by Dr. Wu on the Masrani Backdoor website. With this information, I strongly believe that the Spinosaurus is indeed a super hybrid, and that's going to be a huge factor to consider in this hunt. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the hunt. First things first, if Roland's going to hunt the Spinosaurus, he's going to need a weapon. So I'm going to start off by talking about weaponry. Disclaimer, I am not an expert in firearms. For this topic, I'm strictly going to stick to weapons shown in the movie canon, using some firearm research that I've done. In The Lost World, Roland used a modified LAR Grizzly Big Bore to tranquilize the T-Rex. This gun would fire highly concentrated tranquilizer darts into the skin of its target. While this gun was very effective against the T-Rex, I don't think this gun would be very effective against the Spinosaurus, and I'll tell you why. As I mentioned earlier, the Spinosaurus has very thick skin. In Jurassic Park 3, the mercenary team used what appeared to be a Barrett M82A2, which is a heavy caliber military weapon. Cooper is heard firing off a couple rounds when the Spinosaurus attacks. Udesky then mentions that Cooper is the professional. If we assume that Cooper actually shot the Spinosaurus, then those bullets did absolutely nothing to stop it, and this was from a military gun. So if lethal bullets were ineffective, it's hard to believe that a tranquilizer dart could pierce the tough skin of the Spinosaurus. The same goes for Roland's rifle. Now this doesn't mean that the LAR Grizzly Big Bore is completely useless. Roland could still shoot the Spinosaurus in an area where the skin is not as thick, maybe around the tail area, but this would be a huge gamble, as there wouldn't be much of an opening for Roland to shoot, but more on that later. Overall, I don't think this would be the ideal gun for Roland to use. It's just too risky. There's gotta be another weapon from the Jurassic Park movies that Roland could use. How about the M134 we saw in Jurassic World? The M134 is a minigun, capable of firing 3,000 to 4,000 rounds per minute. A gun like that would certainly pack a punch, even against a beast like the Spinosaurus. Based on the effectiveness of the guns from the other movies, and the tough skin of the Spinosaurus, this would probably be Roland's best bet in terms of firepower. Imagine that, Roland Tembo with a minigun. The only downside to this gun is that Roland would have to have it mounted, and I don't think the Spinosaurus is going to wait for that to happen. One might also say that Roland could use a rocket launcher like the kind we saw in Jurassic World, but that's a bit over the top. I mean, the M134 is over the top too, but the rocket launcher sounds very extreme. Sure, it would more than likely get the job done, but it wouldn't leave much behind. Roland's a hunter that has trophies of his kills, as he mentioned in that one deleted scene in The Lost World. If he blasts away at the Spinosaurus with a rocket launcher, he's not going to have much to take back home. Overall, Roland could use a variety of guns to hunt the Spinosaurus, some more effective than others. The LAR Grizzly Big Bore would only be useful if there's an opening, but the M134 is most likely to bring down the Spinosaurus, as it has high firepower. Now that I've talked about weapons, let's talk about Roland's hunting technique. If Roland's going to hunt the Spinosaurus, he has to be smart in his approach. For example, if the Spinosaurus were to charge him head-on, Roland would almost certainly be dead, kind of like how Cooper died. Cooper only managed to take a few steps before the Spinosaurus scooped him up. The Spinosaurus is a very fast-moving predator and could easily kill Roland. Since it moves so fast, it'd be very difficult for Roland to get a good shot in, no matter what gun he's using. So Roland would have to rely on the most important thing for a hunter to have, stealth. Remember, he had to sneak up on the T-Rex to shoot it. He'd have to sneak up on the Spinosaurus as well. If he takes the stalker approach, then he might have a chance with the LAR Grizzly Big Boar if he shoots it in the tail area as I mentioned earlier. Since the Spinosaurus wouldn't notice him, Roland would have a much better chance of shooting it in the tail. Now he just has to pray that the dosage is strong enough. If he's going to use the M134, he's going to have to set it up beforehand, conceal himself, and lure the Spinosaurus towards him. Basically, a combination of baiting and blind hunting. The Spinosaurus could walk by and Roland could open fire on it. Roland's no stranger to this method of hunting, as he used the baby T-Rex as bait while he hid in the trees in the Lost World. Regardless of which approach Roland takes, he's on the Spinosaurus' turf. It has the home field advantage. It knows the land and could outmaneuver Roland. You may be thinking that this hunt greatly favors the Spinosaurus, and you'd be right. However, Roland would still have a chance if he plays his cards right. Still, the odds are greatly stacked against him. One wrong move and he'd be done. Knowing Roland, I think he'd be more likely to use the LAR Grizzly Big Boar than the M134, despite the risks. Remember, Roland was a man who thrived on thrills and adventure, and getting up close and personal with a Spinosaurus would definitely be quite the thrill. Just imagine if he could do it. We'll probably never know, but hey, that's why it's called fantasy warfare. Now just before I wrap up for today, I'd like to tell you about DinosaurDetector.com, where you can find all kinds of dinosaur merchandise, such as figures, toys, t-shirts, and the aptly named Dinosaur Detector mug. Watch out for ripples! There's something here for any dinosaur lover, and for a limited time, if you go to the website and use the code PRUTCHIK, you'll get 10% off your purchase. Every little bit helps. Check it out. This has been another video by Jeremy James Prutchik. Do you think that Roland could take down the Spinosaurus? How? Or why not? Talk about it in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to me and check out my other videos too. I promise to bring you lots of content. See you next time.